Hello and welcome to News Plus. My name is Leonda Monda. Our leading stories. Former Zimbabwean President seeks political comeback. We give you the latest on Zimbabwean elections. Moscow urges new bank to spread wings throughout Africa. And as the world celebrates this Women's Month, is there anything really to celebrate? We speak to leading women in SADC. Zimbabwe is holding one of its most observed and crucial elections in July this year. This is the first time since the country gained its independence in 1980 that ZANU-PF will present a new presidential candidate, Emmerson Mnangagwa. His candidature followed the resignation of longtime president and ZANU-PF leader Robert Mugabe following a military intervention against his presidency. The European Union and America have already expressed interest to observe the election for the first time. But questions have been raised on the presence of military personnel in the administration of the country's election body, the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission. A move that is seen as slanted on ZANU-PF's favor. ZTN speaks to the chairperson of the commission, Justice Priscilla Chigumba, on this issue.
The allegations about the so-called militarization of the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission are actually quite unfortunate because those allegations are based on misconceptions or misapprehension about our processes. What I would like to say is that any military personnel who are within our ranks actually went through normal interview processes that any company or entity that engages employees does. We advertise those positions, those people were actually interviewed, and they passed those interviews and got those jobs on merit. Having said that, I have gone on record to say when I came in as the ZEC chairperson, I did an exercise where I assured myself what numbers there were of ex-military personnel, and I actually assured myself as well that we currently don't have any serving members. The last thing that I want to say on that subject is that the Zimbabwean law doesn't preclude us from recruiting any former members of the army or the air force or prisons. My investigations actually showed me that a lot of these ex-servicemen are the ones who actually man our district and provincial offices, and actually some of them serve in our outlying outposts, areas that are not accessible, areas that a lot of people would not want to work in. So we do have them, yes. We haven't done anything wrong in terms of the law, but they're not all concentrated in one place. Some are in the districts, some are in the provinces.
Zimbabwe's former president, Robert Mugabe, is seeking yet another chance in the political spotlight, this time as the kingmaker in the newly formed political outfit, the National Patriotic Front. We find out from Zimbabweans their take on this.
Kushunga anofana kuti vangozorore kuti wana munhu ane 94 years akuta involved in politics vakuru vangu vati ushe madzoro kana pane zvimwe zvavanga vakatadza kuita kumashure in 37 years ka vachine energy ka handifunga kuti nhasi ka pane zvimwe zvavachakwanisa kuita se kuita.
I don't think kuti zvakanaka kuti mudhara adzoke papolitics because munhu anga achitofana kunge akuva achiadvisa mashandiro enyika kuti zvingafambe sei, but instead akutokanganisa ndiye because by coming back into politics zvakutoreva kuti iye wacho zvaaitiitira zvacho haasi kumborealiza kuti zvaakaita akatadza.
According to Constitution in Zimbabwe, it states that anyone who's about 40 can start his or her own party. And given his background, maybe he has been in power for the past 37 years, right? As he's free to do so.
Nyaya va Mugabe kuva mutungamiri wenyika inei takavatambira nemaoko ese, nyika yakafara pakutanga, hapana chakaipa kuva mutungamiri kutungamira kwavakaita kwose, asi kazhinji nenguva nenguva zvinopera, saka kana zvapera munhu ana accepta. Tina Nelson Mandela akaresigna pachine nguva, achiresigna vazhinji vakakomplaina kuti aresigna zvaita sei, asi munhu akarangarira upenyu akaziva kuti nyika ndiri nemagara andakaita ndakachibereka vanhu vakawanda kumashure, akati ndosiyirawo vamwe. Saka iyewo haafani kunzwa hasha, hapana chake chemomwe make chaakatorerwa mutungamiriri wedu. Ndezvenyika, ndezvevanhu, vanhu havazi vake, vanhu ndevamwari.
The former president was in South Africa last week, where he's said to have met with various members of the new party to be launched soon. The party's leader is believed to be retired Brigadier General Ambrose Muthiniri, Mugabe's longtime ally, who resigned from ZANU-PF a week ago, challenging President Mnangagwa's presidency. Mugabe's wife Grace, widely seen as the reason for his downfall, is said to be angling for the vice presidency. Meanwhile, ZANU-PF youths have for the first time denounced their former leader, declaring him the #1 enemy of the party. The youths made the statements during the inaugural National Youth Assembly last week, officiated by President Mnangagwa.
We've seen quite a number of media articles attributing certain bad anti-ZANU-PF sentiments to him. To us, we knew him as someone who's still in the party. We expelled his wife. We still regarded him as a member of ZANU-PF, but if he chooses to now join or form a certain political party, to us that legacy in the political space actually crumbles. We lose that respect for him because we called him a legend, because we appreciated the role that he had played. But if he becomes an enemy, then he's not good for us. It's just like a Nelson Chamisa, it's just like a Tendai Biti, because he's in the opposition.
We are denouncing the statements that are being pronounced in the media about his role with this new party that has just been formed. So the moment that you deviate from the original principles of the revolution, there's no reason for us to continue respecting you.
Asked whether they will still celebrate the annual Robert Mugabe National Youth Day set for February 21, this is what the youths had to say.
The day is called the Youth Day. If you look at the legislation, the Gazette, it's called the Youth Day. But possibly you might think that one of these days or one of these years, possibly youth can even call for the holding of that day in June, not in February. And that's possible, that can be done. It's not cast in stone. It's not like an Independence Day.
This month, the world celebrates women and the achievements they have made in the different spheres. ZTN speaks to leading SADC women on whether or not women have finally found their place in society.
It is one thing to have positions in the political positions, but it's another thing to have positions in society as a whole. And where do you begin? The focus should not just be at the political position. The focus should be starting from a girl child. What are we doing to empower a girl child? You have to get the right education. You have to get a proper place in a family. You have to be treated equally like a boy child. You have to be given an opportunity to go to school. You come back home, you should not be seen as a girl that we are all from this continent. You now go and fetch water, go and fetch firewood, while the boy child is at home studying. So we are finding our position, yes, but still it's a journey.
Russia has urged the BRICS New Development Bank to spread its wings all over Africa. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov, who was on a visit to Zimbabwe last week, told the Pan-African magazine Ons d'Afrique that although the bank was currently in its infancy, Moscow expects it to operate not only in South Africa, but in other parts of Africa as well. Mr. Lavrov was in Zimbabwe to explore investment opportunities in the country. He met several industry and business leaders as well as government ministers. In Pyongyang, North Korea, the leader of North Korea, Kim Jong-un, hosted a dinner for the South Korean delegation in his country last week, the first interactive encounter between the North and the South in decades. North Korea's official news agency announced that the dinner proceeded in a compatriotic and sincere atmosphere and laid the ground for versatile dialogue and cooperation. However, no further details were provided. And in business news, since the outbreak of Listeria in South Africa last week, the Zimbabwean government has responded by banning the importation of Listeria-linked foods into the country. The Confederation of Zimbabwe Industries President Denford Chimutashu has also urged the Zimbabwe Revenue Authority to strengthen border controls so as to combat the smuggling of the products into the country. Listeriosis is bacteria that is found in some processed foods. It was detected in South Africa last week after killing 100 people. No cases have been found in Zimbabwe. And in sports news, Zimbabwe handed Afghanistan their second successive defeat in the ongoing ICC World Cup qualifier when they successfully defended 196 runs to win by 2 runs in a nail-biting finish at the Queen's Sports Club in Bulawayo yesterday. It was the Chevron's second straight victory, and the win enhances the host's chances of reaching the Super 6 stage. The defeat has left Afghanistan in serious trouble as they have to win their remaining 2 matches against Nepal and Hong Kong to keep their hopes of qualifying for the World Cup. Still on cricket, Chris Gayle joined Hashim Amla and Sachin Tendulkar as the only batsman in the history of ODI cricket to score centuries against 11 different countries, while Shimron Hetmyer hit his maiden century as the Windies defeated the United Arab Emirates by 60 runs in their opening Group A fixture of the ICC Cricket World Cup qualifier 2018 at the Old Hararians in Harare on Tuesday.